You are listening to Mostaccioli Murder, Book 1 of the Jade Sommer series, written by Nicolette Pierce. Copyright 2020. Audio copyright 2025 by Pierced Heart Publishing. Digitally narrated with full cast of voices. Chapter 15. The morning sun blasted me in the face, waking me from a fitful sleep. I thought I had closed the shades, but I must not have. I stilled. Was the sound from Mom or another intruder? Bacon? The scent wafted to me in a heavenly cloud, making me nearly drool on the spot. That had to be Mom. But if a burglar wanted to make me breakfast, I was okay with that too. "Mom, are you making breakfast?" I asked, rolling up to sit on the couch. I rubbed the sleep from my eyes.
Your mom is baking downstairs.
"Logan?" He leaned out of the kitchen.
Omelet or scrambled. I can't do any other eggs.
"Why are you here?"
Making breakfast.
"But why?"
I'm hungry. Thought you might be too. The longer you question me, the greater the chance the bacon will burn.
"I'll shut up. Save the bacon." I pushed myself up to stand. "I'll be ready in 5 minutes. Scrambled is fine." Ordinarily, I'd probably just eat breakfast in my pajamas. But Logan was dressed and looked presentable. I could make a winning bet that I was a mess. And why was he here? I knew he said he was hungry, but he had a girlfriend chef he could cook with, who probably never burned bacon. But I knew the reason. It was his way of checking up on us. Sweet, really. But annoying too, since I was doing my best not to see him. Well, not really. I hurried to shower and change. I then brushed my hair and my teeth and called it good. By the time I sat down at the table, breakfast was plated and set in front of me.
Can I eat here?
He asked, pointing to the table. "Where else would you eat?"
If I had asked you a couple of days ago, you probably would have said the sewer.
I grinned. And you would be right.
But I've been upgraded to the table today?
For now. You made food, but you really didn't have to check up on us. Mom would have been the first to call you if something went wrong. He gave a shrug, knowing I was right. I nibbled on some bacon before asking, "Any leads on who broke in?"
Not yet.
He said, as he stood to fetch 2 glasses of ice water that looked heavenly. I hadn't realized how thirsty I was. When he sat back down and slid a glass over to me, I said, "Sorry. I'm not much of a hostess. I didn't think of water."
Coffee will be ready in a few minutes.
Coffee. Bacon. Logan. That trio could sway a girl to do many things. "So, no leads," I said, steering the conversation back. "Do you think the break-in has anything to do with Wayne's killer?"
I wouldn't think so. It's not like you had ties with Wayne other than the restaurant.
"But Mr. Cheerful is looking for money. Maybe he thinks he can break in and steal what he was owed."
Sure, but nothing was taken. From the time the call came in to the time we arrived, he could have taken the TV or your computer. But so far you haven't noticed anything missing.
True. I sighed and ate a little more. His scrambled eggs were unusually good. I normally didn't go out of my way for scrambled eggs, but for these, I would. "What did you put into the eggs?"
It's a secret.
"You already know it's impossible to keep secrets from me. Why bother trying?" He grinned, making his eyes crinkle at the corners. A boyish charm fell over his features. The boy I had fallen in love with. I glanced back at the bacon and was irritated that I no longer wanted to eat. And with my irritable mood came a question I didn't want him to answer, and yet I asked it anyway. "Are you dating Avery?" His gaze locked with mine, and I could tell he didn't want to answer. "Never mind. I don't want to know anyway." "So, have you figured out the connection between Landon and Mr. Cheerful?"
You mean Smith?
I guarantee his name is not Smith. Is he from the company? Uncle Sal used to tell Ross and me stories about the company, which ran with the likes of Capone. Under the watchful glare of Aunt Dot, Uncle Sal had made sure to keep the stories G-rated, but my imagination filled in the blanks. The company was still a part of Chicago, just like deep dish pizza and jazz. I often wondered if Uncle Sal had been a part of the company since he knew so much, but he said he wasn't that stupid. Plus, a relative of his had been in the company for all of a week before he screwed up and was never seen again. Either way, the company still ran in Chicago, and if Wayne was desperate enough to borrow money from them, he might have gotten into hot water.
As far as I know, Smith doesn't have ties to the mafia.
I'd have to ask Uncle Sal. Even without being in the company, Uncle Sal seemed to know everyone. What do you think Landon is up to? Lily and Mr. Lee are worried about him.
I don't know what he's doing, but whatever it is, it's dangerous.
What kind of detective are you? You should be investigating. He leveled me with a flat stare. If someone doesn't step in, Lan will end up like Wayne, I added.
Just make sure you aren't that person.
Logan warned, which made me prickle. I didn't like being told I should or shouldn't do something, and it made me that much more determined to figure out what was going on before something bad happened to Landon or anyone else.
Jade, I'm serious. Promise me you won't get involved.
You know I can't promise you that. He leaned in.
I'll put you under surveillance if you pull one of Nana's stunts.
A threat?
A promise.
Why would you care if I asked around a bit?
Because that leads to trouble. And the last thing I need is to be chasing you around town trying to save your ass while I have a million other things to do.
There had been a time when he didn't mind chasing my ass around town. I wasn't going to say as much, but the thought was still there. Never fear. I will not follow in Nana's footsteps. But I would tiptoe around them, and there was nothing Logan could do about it. I dreaded the family meeting, but since I had arranged it, I should be there. The emotional drain from just thinking about the restaurant potentially closing was souring my stomach. I couldn't imagine how the others felt.
Let's get on with it,
Aunt Dot said, calling the meeting to order. She sat at the round table we used for large groups. We all took a seat and stared at each other. Kobe sat on one side of me with Ross on the other side. Mom sat near Aunt Dot. Brave. Uncle Frank was MIA, but he never really cared about the restaurant anyway. Plus, if Uncle Frank had any ideas, Aunt Dot would shoot them down right away. He was better off at the hospital playing cards with Dad. I wasn't sure if Nana would make an appearance, but Aunt Dot didn't waste any time diving into her ideas, which included a makeover of the dining room.
I love the idea of remodeling,
Mom said, nodding in agreement.
What's the point if we're going to close in a couple of days?
Ross asked.
I can take money from my savings. We can get through another pay cycle.
Your savings will help for now. But then what?
It will buy us time, I said. We can cut down costs where we can.
We run on a shoestring budget to begin with. There's no cutting down.
Are you saying you don't want to try to save the restaurant? Would you rather shut down?
Of course not. I'm being realistic. Even if we cut costs, remodel, and update the menu, we still need double or triple the customers. I just don't see a flock of people suddenly beating a path to our door. And we don't have money to advertise.
Kobe straightened.
I can help with that.
I wasn't sure Kobe's version of advertising would help us. More likely, it would harm us. But I couldn't say as much. The hopeful look in his eyes made me feel like I'd be kicking a puppy if I dumped on his contribution. I will help with advertising as well, I said, hoping that would help curb Kobe's tendencies. I'm also working to free up some money, but I can't guarantee anything.
Keep your money for now, honey. We'll take Aunt Dot up on her offer to use her money first. We will put it in the budget to repay everyone in increments once the restaurant is profitable again.
If Aunt Dot can pay for the next payroll, what about the cost to remodel?
Mom frowned, and I knew she was thinking about the massive debt lingering upstairs. Maybe do it in phases, I said. Mom, you have enough fabric upstairs to reupholster the chairs and make new tablecloths, and it would help clear out that bedroom.
You just want your bedroom back.
Ross said with a smirk. I didn't deny it, but I wouldn't confirm it either. Little by little, we came up with a plan. Mom would start redecorating. Aunt Dot would update the menu. Ross would work with vendors and find ways to trim without cutting quality. And Kobe and I were on advertising duty, along with creating a web presence and social media platform. In this day and age, I was shocked we weren't on the internet already. When we broke from the meeting, I was overwhelmed but hopeful. Aunt Dot bustled into the kitchen to begin prepping food for the day. Ross went to his office to call vendors. Mom hurried to finish baking and then headed over to see Dad. And Kobe and I sat in the dining room.
What should we do first?
Do you know how to build a website? He nodded. Then I want you to build it and start up social media accounts. I had been hesitant to hand over the responsibility to him, but I'd realized that once I found a job, he'd be the only one able to run everything. It'd be better for him to have control over it now. But we need to brand our image first, I said. Do you know any graphic designers?
One guy I know dabbles in it, but restaurants aren't really his thing.
What is his thing? Kobe picked up his phone and scrolled through it and then showed me the screen. Okay, we won't ask him, I said, shifting my gaze away from the site. You could have just told me he wouldn't work. Now I'm going to have nightmares about vampire harems. Kobe grinned.
When should we shoot a video for the restaurant?
I wanted to stall the video. I didn't think it would benefit the restaurant, and there were other effective ways to advertise with social media. Let's wait on that until we redecorate and have a new menu. Then we can show this place better. He gave a nod. I think I can call in a favor for help with branding.
With who?
A woman I worked with. I stalled when I realized I used the past tense, but Kobe didn't seem to notice or care. Get the domain name, and I'll get you logos.
Will do, boss,
he said with a playful salute as he stood.
I'll work on it after my shift tonight. Right now, I'm due at the park.
What's going on at the park?
A model shoot.
I raised a brow.
The girls are willing to model for free.
He picked up a backpack from under the table and slung it over his shoulder.
Later.
Slipping my phone out of my pocket, I pulled up email and sent a quick message to Mila. While she had been my assistant and mainly performed office work, she was also proficient in graphic arts. The ad firm didn't think she was quite on point for their needs, but she did have skills. Mila, want to brand a restaurant? It doesn't pay, but it would be great for your portfolio. Hopefully she'd bite. Otherwise, I'd have to come up with a plan B. But that was a problem for later. Right now, I wanted to speak to Uncle Sal. Ever since my chat with Logan, my imagination had taken over. I had too many questions, and I needed more information. Uncle Sal might provide them. And if I knew Uncle Sal, he'd be causing problems with the nurses right about now. I walked through the dining room and headed past the kitchen. Before I could get out the back door to the alley, Ross stopped me.
I didn't want to bring it up at the meeting, but Logan filled me in on the break-in. Is Mom okay?
Yes, and I'm fine too. Thank you for asking. He rolled his eyes.
I know you're fine. I just wondered if Mom might want me to stay over tonight.
There's only one couch and it's mine. Anyway, she was level-headed through the whole thing. I couldn't say the same about myself, but Mom should be proud of herself. And nothing happened. We never saw the person, and nothing was taken.
Why did they break in if they didn't take anything?
I leaned in. I think this has to do with Wayne. He owed money. Even Jalen's place was broken into.
But she's Wayne's wife. It makes sense that she might have something. Why would Mom?
I don't know, But if they hit Jalen and Mom, then they might try you next. His eyes widened slightly before he shook his head.
That's a stretch.
I shrugged. Someone is desperate. Desperate people don't think rationally. Maybe Logan can bunk with you.
I don't need him to come and watch over me. I'm not a child.
No, but he has a gun. What would you defend yourself with? Your 8th grade trophy for being most likely to be a workaholic?
I threw that away a long time ago.
Then think of it as a slumber party. You and Logan can braid each other's hair and have a pillow fight. Ross's gaze narrowed.
Weren't you leaving?
I smiled. See you tonight,
Can't wait.
he muttered, and he retreated to his office. After all of these years, I could still make Ross flee. It gave me a warm, fuzzy feeling.